You're listening to Answering the Call, the official podcast of the 12th Man Foundation. Our show provides listeners with an insider perspective of Texas A&M athletics and its greatest supporters. This podcast will bring you exclusive interviews with coaches, athletes, donors, and the dedicated staff of Aggie Athletics and the 12th Man Foundation. You ready? Let's dive into today's episode. Howdy, and welcome back to another episode of Answering the Call, the official podcast of the 12th Man Foundation. This is your host, Ivy Robinson, and today I am in studio with Texas A&M football quarterback Marcel Reed. Thanks for being here today, Marcel.
Thank you guys for having me.
Marcel, to start off, can you tell our listeners, I'm just curious, what is one unique fact about yourself that not many people know?
That the Aggies could use me on the basketball team.
Really? What position?
Point guard. Actually, I'll move to shooting guard. I'm not going to take away its spot.
Interesting. Okay, so did you play basketball in high school?
I did.
Okay.
I played all the way up until senior year. I won state sophomore year and was all-state 3 years.
Awesome. Good for you. So tell us more about your background, just for our listeners who may not know. Tell us where you're from, where you went to high school. Tell us about your family. So let's start there.
Yeah, so I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. My mom's from Florida, and then my dad and my sister are from Texas. So I'm the only one in my family born in Nashville. And the reason because of that is my dad was a football coach at Tennessee State my entire life. So, yeah, I grew up there and went to high school at Montgomeryville Academy, which is an all-boy private school about, I want to say 5 minutes down the road from Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's around that area. I mean, that really started in 7th grade, so I attended that school from 7th through 12th grade. Good experience. You know, I had a good football team, good basketball team, like I just mentioned. That's really much it. I mean, grew up coach's son, playing sports all the time. You name it, basketball, football, baseball, soccer, anything.
So as early as you can remember, you were playing some kind of sport.
Yeah, my mom always talks about how I always had a ball in my hand when I was a kid.
Very cool. What about siblings?
I'm the youngest out of 4. I have an older brother who was also born in Florida, another older sister who's born in Florida, and then my other sister who's the closest in age to me. She's born in Texas. So, I mean, my brother's 36, other sister's 31, and then the other one is 22. And my oldest sister lives in Nashville now. She has a son, Carter. He's my nephew. And then my brother, has 5 kids, lives in Florida still. And then my sister had just graduated college about a year or 2 ago from Alabama, and now she's working in recruiting at Missouri.
Oh, very cool.
Yep.
So Nashville, Tennessee. I was actually in Nashville about a year ago. I took a trip there with my family for Christmas, and I love Nashville.
Nashville's awesome.
Like, so many good places to eat, the music. One of my favorite places to eat is the Pancake Pantry.
Pancake Pantry.
Oh my gosh.
How was the line when you went?
Okay, it actually wasn't that bad.
Wasn't
now
bad?
I know, because this was my second Nashville trip. The first time I went, I think it was in like 2017. Horrible line.
Yeah.
I went for spring break. But surprisingly, last year for Christmas, it really wasn't that bad. I think we waited maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Whenever I go.
What's your go-to order?
I
the
just
Pancake
get
Pantry?
regular pancakes. I don't get anything extra. Have you ever been to Funky Griddle? Have you heard of that?
No.
So it's like you make your own pancake. It's kind of like hibachi, but like it's like you pour the own batter. You can put whatever on it. It's kind of cool. But
Is that in downtown?
that's actually it's in the Brentwood area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I think right off of Harding Pike. Yeah, you probably don't know what that is. So I'm from Nashville, so
nope.
I'm just saying it like it's the back of my
I know,
hand.
like
But
12 South. I know that
yeah,
area.
12 South. That's closer to downtown. That's like around where my school is. Like that's the backside, kinda. Nice place, Nashville.
Very cool. All right, so you said you played basketball, obviously football in high school. When did you decide that football was the sport for you and what you preferred?
I want to say my sophomore, junior year. And I played a lot. Like I said, I played a lot of sports. And I did a lot of traveling too, so I played travel baseball and travel basketball. But when it came down to it, I had to make a decision. So I chose basketball for the travel part. And then once you start getting to high school, you got summer workouts and stuff you got to be at, and that became hard to manage too. So I ended up starting my 4 games into my freshman year. So I was a starting quarterback from freshman year to senior year, and I felt like I had to be there. And then summer workouts, so it was kind of hard to make it to those trips out of town for basketball. So I mean, once I started to get serious about football and started, bringing in some interest and offers, I think I made a decision after getting an Alabama offer that I was going to play football, which was a hard decision because basketball is my favorite sport, no doubt. But when I got that Alabama offer, I mean, a lot of them just started to flood in. So that really helped me make the decision that I'm going to be playing football for the rest of my life. And then also, like, you see it here, the 12th man, and seeing the atmosphere that college football brings, especially in the SEC. That played a big part in me picking what sport I was going to do. Because, you go to Friday night lights to playing on Saturday and seeing 100,000 people watching you, cheering on. I mean, it's a great environment to be in. So that played a big part in my choice.
I'm glad you mentioned kind of the offers and the recruitment process that you went through, because I want to come back to that. It's one of my questions on here. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit more about your dad, who was head coach at Tennessee State University. And, like, what did you learn from him growing up? And what did he instill in you? Maybe some values or things about football.
I mean, just the discipline of being a good person as well as being a good athlete. I think the choice of him putting me in the school I was in, Montgomeryville Academy, played a big role in that because, the motto of the school is gentleman, scholar, athlete. And they teach you from day one as you first start in 7th grade how to be a gentleman, how to do interviews, how to speak to somebody in the right way, formal or informal, how to do emails, stuff like that. Just how to live in the real world and be a good man. And then also, they have the sports aspect in there too. They had great programs all across the board. And when you can learn stuff like that, it's great being a kid growing up like that and knowing you don't have to worry about a lot just because you have all of it in your hands just from the position your parents put you in. My dad did a great job trying not always to be a coach but be a dad as well. It's really hard to be a coach and a father at the same time just because of all the time they take being up at the facility, especially being a head coach where you have to manage the entire team. High praise to him for everything he's done. Some things he's taught me, football-wise, is he was a defensive coordinator, so obviously he makes it easy for me to try to read a defense or understand, and he taught me the basics when I was really young in my QB career because I didn't really start being a QB until, like, really my freshman year. I played in 8th grade, but I got injured. He kicked it up a notch when he knew that I was going to be a starter, and, I guess he knew the path that I was going to be on because he knew his son and the athlete he had. But yeah, it's awesome having a dad that's a coach who can teach you all these things while, being a coach and a dad at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And he also played linebacker, is that right, at Tennessee State University?
Yep.
So knowing that he played in college, did that inspire you to pursue a scholarship and play in college as well, or was that something you personally just wanted to do?
Well, obviously, you want to be like your dad when you grow up. I knew I wasn't going to be a linebacker, though. I got my mom's genes. But yeah, he definitely, inspired me to be a football player. I knew I wasn't going to be, what he was because I like the offensive side of the ball, just having the ball in my hands. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be afraid to hit anybody. But I like either catching the ball, throwing the ball, or running it. So I was a running back up until I chose to be a quarterback. But yeah, he definitely inspired me a lot. My grandfather played as well. He was an offensive lineman, and he ended up going to the pros playing for the Oilers and the Redskins. So, yeah, I wanted to be like them, but I also had my own kind of inspiration. Just want to be a college athlete because you see it growing up all the time. You watch it on TV, and you're like, I want to be that one day, whether it was football or basketball. I wanted to be some type of athlete, and I knew I could do it.
So take us back to the first moment you received an offer to play football in college when you were in high school. Take us back to that moment, explain who it was, and then maybe the process of how the offers started to roll in after that.
Can't remember specifically who it was. I know it was Kentucky. I want to say the guy's name was like Kevin something. And then Liam Cohen, I'm pretty sure, was the offensive coordinator at the time. But it's kind of strange. It was after my freshman year of football. I had just gained the starting position after 4 games, went 8-1, lost in the state championship, and I was in school one day in December, and my coach called me to the office, said a coach wanted to see me, so I came down there, talked to the coach a little bit, and I was in the middle of like study hall or lunch or one of the two. My school is very demanding when it comes to academics, so obviously I had to be back, and my coach knew that too because, they're all teachers at the school. But, I talked to him for a little bit, and then I left, and my coach told me to come back, and I was like, I got to be somewhere, but okay, I'll come back real quick. He said he wanted you to come back. I was like, okay. So I got back, and he's like, we want to offer you a scholarship, and I was like, no way. Like, it's cool getting your first scholarship, but from an SEC school, I feel like that holds a lot of weight, and that meant a lot to me. Obviously, I was excited, and I called my parents, told them, and my dad, obviously wasn't going to give me the excited answer. He was going to be like, keep working, all that. He didn't act on me because he's a coach, and he's a hard coach. So, that was a great experience. And then I guess after that, other ones just started to roll in, and something great happened to me when I was 14, 15 years old.
Yeah. So I know you initially committed to Ole Miss over several, strong, notable football programs, but you decommitted obviously to come to Texas A&M. So what led to that decision? What factors? What was it about Texas A&M that made you decommit?
Yeah, Texas A&M was always the top school in my recruitment at the time that I had committed, and when I wanted to commit. Eli Holstein was committed here, and I don't know exactly what school he went to, but I'm pretty sure he's from Texas. So I understood that. I was like, okay, obviously they have a quarterback. I'm going to go look somewhere else. And Ole Miss was recruiting me very highly. But then Eli Holstein ended up decommitting, going to Alabama. And, my recruitment started to get a little shaky just with a bunch of rumors like Lane Kiffin was going to go to Auburn. And I didn't know if I was going to be the guy if he went to Auburn. So we started to look around. I visited Auburn because Auburn ended up getting Hugh Freeze, and he called me up for a visit, so I went to a visit there, and the next week I went to A&M, and I don't know what it was. I don't know what the difference was between the first and the second time I came, but, it was something special, seeing just Kyle Field and the facilities. Something was going on. I was just like, I like this place. Me and my parents, my mom loved it. And, whenever my mom loves something, that means I love it. I'm a mama's boy, so.
So it just felt right.
Yeah, it just felt right. And we had some connections here. One of the player personnel guys played for my dad at Tennessee State, and then another recruiting director was a coach with my dad at Tennessee State as well. So, we had plenty of connections here. And then, like I mentioned earlier, my family's from Texas, and they're in the Dallas area. So, we thought about how easy it would be for them to make it up to games, which they have. A lot of them have made it up to games. I had my grandma up here. I've had my aunt up here, my cousin, stuff like that. When you put all that together, there's no way you could say no to an opportunity like this. So, that's ultimately why I chose Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. And when you got here, when you arrived for the first time as an official student athlete, what was it like? What were your first impressions of College Station, Aggie Land?
Obviously, when you're staying in Park West as a freshman and not a dorm, it's kind of special. You got a nice room, your own bathroom, own closet. I'm living the life now, and I'm right by the facility. It's amazing how far you can be from Kyle Field and still see it. That place is huge. So, that brought a light to my eyes, obviously. And just being a college athlete, a college student, going through the routine every day was something I was ready for and wanted to do. Being a coach's son, I went up there with my dad all the time. I'd watch his players and what they do. I'd be with them in all the pregame meals, their little bed checks and stuff like that before games. And I wanted to be a part of it. And when I got here, it was finally real. So it was a special moment just being able to call myself a college athlete, also in the SEC once again because of just how prestigious this conference is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Marcel, what's your major? What are you studying here?
I'm studying communication. My dad was in communication. And I was like, well, if you're a football coach and I'm a football player and I want to possibly be a football coach, why not get in the same field you were in?
There you go. Do you have a favorite class or professor, anything you've studied so far that really stands out to you?
I took a journalism class last year. The class was fun. It was a big class, but I liked that class.
How do you balance the demands of being both a student and an athlete? Because, in the season, rigorous schedule, football ramps up. How do you balance the demands of being both a football player and an athlete?
Yeah, I mean, you really just have to time manage. And I feel like the football staff, the academic staff, they do a good job of helping us get everything that we need done with all the resources that we have. Like we can go in and do our work with learning specialists and they can help us knock it out. And we have set times to do it in between our schedule. So, I mean, there's no way you can complain about it. I mean, unless you really just don't want to go or be a successful student or athlete. But yeah, I mean, with all the resources we have here, it's hard not to maintain good focus in both the classroom and on the field.
hmm And I'm glad you mentioned resources because contributions from 12 Man Foundation donors and season ticket holders help provide some of the resources that our student athletes that y'all can utilize, such as academics to mental health to sports medicine.
Hmm.
So for those listening who contribute and give back to support our athletic programs, what would be your message of gratitude to them?
We definitely appreciate you guys 100%. I mean, without you guys, we wouldn't have, the buildings we have right now. We wouldn't have the people that can help us out. We wouldn't be as successful as we are as a football program if we didn't have you guys. So thank you all.
hmm How do you like the brand new Adam Season Academic and Wellness Center? What are your overall thoughts and what's your favorite part about that facility?
Um, I think my favorite part about the facility is just the structure. I mean, I like the glass and how the sun can just come in and shine on the staircase as you go up and stuff like that. The food now is amazing. We have a lot of options and a lot of time slots where we can get in and get food. Great service, great customer service, I guess. I don't know if you call it that, but
Do
we
y'all have
love
like
it.
specialized meal plans?
Yes and no. You can go and get a specialized meal plan, but it's really just about your calorie intake. I mean, you got a lot of food there, so choose wisely. I mean, they got a lot of options. We have burgers some days, we have steak some days, pasta. They got a
What's your
hibachi
favorite
station.
favorite day?
I love when they have burgers. I love when they have burgers, or they have the fried chicken sandwiches, or steak. The steak's good. They make some good steak, and then they got the hibachi station too. You can get chicken, rice, noodles. Some days they'll throw a lo mein in there. That's not me though.
Marcel, can you share an example of how your teammates or your coaches have really influenced you or your growth as a player?
From high school to college, I'm not always the most talkative person on the field. I mean, I play and prove my preparation obviously, but I mean I don't always use my voice. And I think as I grew older, a lot of people on the team kind of opened me up and just helped me be able to use my voice and become more comfortable with everybody on the team. And I think me personally, I try my best to make friends with every single person in the locker room, walk on or scholarship guy, and people all over the facility, trainers, all the coaches. I want to say Torian York, Dalton Brooks, Jade Walker. Really just honestly the 23 class, like we all came on that visit right before signing day, and I mean those guys are like my brothers forever for sure. Like I said, Torian York and Dalton Brooks, Mike Tees. I mean, me and Dalton are roommates. Torian and Mike live a minute away from us, and then we've always been around each other. We go on trips together. Honestly, just watching people like them grow and how they've changed as leaders, it's helped me change as a leader as well. Just seeing how they work, how they move. I got to be the same, and we all got the same goal. So, I mean, we're all just trying to do the same thing, get to the same place. And, like I said, watching them is just lead by example kind of moment.
Mm-hmm.
I just try to follow them and then, try to give my side of the ball that kind of edge that they have just so, we can all be clicking on all cylinders.
I like that. I've never thought about that, watching your defensive teammates and trying to implement that energy and yeah, bring that into the offense. How would you describe the camaraderie and the team culture this year? I mean, you're just talking about Torian and Jade and Dalton, a lot of those guys and how they lead by example, but as a whole, in Mike Elko's program, from your perspective, how would you describe it this year?
Obviously, completely different. And, I mean, it's been a great change. Elko coming in, I mean, he came to us, I want to say, we had a team meeting a few days after, not a few days, but a few weeks, a week or two after the bowl game that we played in Houston. And he talked to us about what it was going to look like, what it was going to take. And, I mean, it hasn't changed since. I mean, he told us right then and there on. And everybody who was there, who was coming in, everybody bought in. And the people he brought, I mean, Coach Moffitt and his staff in the weight room, from nutritionists to the other coaches that he also brought in, everybody is on the same page, and it's been a huge culture shock for the entire 12th man, in my opinion. But, I mean, it's been a great one because Elko tells nothing but the truth. And the people who stayed are a big testament to, what this program has done this year and what we're going to continue to do in the coming years. And like I said, everyone in this organization has bought in and done what they're supposed to do, and everybody's seeing the results of it. I mean, and we're going to keep doing that until it gets stopped.
Mm-hmm. I just think it's cool how, I mean, in that moment after that bowl game last year, there was a lot of uncertainty, with the program, but for him to just step in and just to create that buy-in, like, I mean, that just shows a tremendous leader, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, what else have you learned from Elko so far, just playing for him? And
I mean, not just me, but the entire team has learned how to play football on a whole different level. Coach Moffitt says it all the time, be a pro, and that's how we're practicing. Coach Elko goes through situational stuff. I mean, we have certain days where we work on this and that, and it's really just opened everybody's eyes about the game of football and how it's going to be played in the future. And just from a discipline standpoint, for this buy-in that everybody has, I mean, he has a little structure that keeps everybody in line, and it's done an amazing job just having this team stay together. And you've seen through all the ups and downs that we've had in this season, both offensively and defensively, we haven't cracked one time. Everybody trusts everybody in this program, coaches, including players. And that buy-in, just from the people who have been here to the people who are new here, it's like everybody's been here for 5 years. Like, you see a new coaching change, and you don't expect to be clicking on all cylinders like this that early.
mm-hmm.
And
That's what's fascinating to me is how
yeah,
short it's been. I mean, how short of time you've all spent together, but it seems like it's a very cohesive team.
yeah.
To
I
me.
mean, it was just that statement he made when he first got here, and there's not really much going back from what we've learned now. All the situational stuff, the practices, the preparation, how we go about our everyday life in the film room or on the field. I mean, it's just a different way of playing this game, and everybody loves it. Everybody is starting to become more aware of how it's supposed to be played, how we play championship football. I mean, he has these 4 pillars that are put up in the meeting room that we can see every day, and he talks about it every day of the plan to win and how it's going to get done. And it showed that when we execute the things that we need to execute, that's how we're going to win the game. And when we don't, that's how we're going to lose the game. So, the 2 losses we have this season, we didn't execute the plan to win. All the wins we have this season, we've executed the plan to win. So it's very simple. And, I mean, he makes it easy for us and hard at the same time.
So, staying on the topic of like buy-in and mindset and culture, how do you ground yourself and really dial in and focus when maybe you're down or, it's a really crucial moment in the game? What do you enforce yourself or how do you stay focused?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one play at a time mentality. You got to focus on what's called and what you need to get done on that exact play. And then when that one's over, you got to focus on the next one and what you have to get done for that exact play. And that's just the mindset everybody on the team has, just taking care of their responsibility. If everybody does their 1/11th on the field, what can go wrong? I mean, it's really that simple. Just, doing what you're coached to do, what you're supposed to do based off of what happens. If you execute, you're going to succeed.
Mm-hmm. So I know every player has that one play that they'll never forget. Do you have a play or a moment that you've experienced so far at Texas A&M that really just you think it'll stick with you for the rest of your life?
Definitely the first touchdown in the LSU game that I had. It was just kind of cool how it was the first play in and you score. And then having 108,000 in the stadium watching and how it just erupts like that, all black, the atmosphere, the game, what it was that night. I mean, it was just something special and something I'll remember my entire life for sure.
Mm-hmm. That game was just incredible. I think it was the loudest game I had ever been to in Cowfield.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That was fun to be in for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Can you walk us through the emotions you felt the very first time you stepped into Kyle Field on a football game day, like when you came down that main entrance tunnel for the very first time?
Definitely had chills. Something you dream about, just running out on any team, but especially in Cal Field with that jersey on, being all ready for game day and just seeing all these people in the stands cheering, the band playing. It's a surreal feeling. Obviously, it's the first time you've ever done it in your life, so you're going to feel some type of way. And I had some chills, and to be honest, I couldn't see running out because of the smoke at some point. So I was afraid I was going to hit the goalpost or trip over somebody if somebody else fell. I know y'all seen that video before. Oklahoma, somebody in Oklahoma was running out, and
I have seen that.
Somebody tripped, and they all
Yes.
just piled up.
Yes. What a nightmare.
Yeah. That was
Oh my gosh. So how do you personally prepare for game day? Like, do you have any game day rituals or routines you have to walk through before?
Yeah, I try to do everything the same. I have to shower before every game. I used to in high school, like, shower right before I got dressed for the game. But, like, now, just because of the timing, I got to shower before we do our little pregame meal and then hop on the bus to go to Kyle or go to the opponent's field. So I shower before every game. And then I think it was on Ask the Aggies, Haribo Happy Cola. I eat those before every game. And I've been doing that for all sports since I don't know when. But it's a funny story. Coach Wiggins, his sons actually gave me, on Halloween, they gave me a bag. And it had all my Haribo Happy Cola. And I was like, I don't got to buy any for the next 5 weeks.
Oh my gosh, that's too good.
Yeah, I do that. These bracelets, I haven't changed. I keep these on. This is from
What are they? So, obviously, we're on video on this
Yeah, you
podcast,
can't
but
see it.
can you read what they are?
This says Smitty Strong, one of my old coaches, and Joshua 19. He died of cancer. And then this one is for the Scruggs family. About 2 years ago, there was a school shooting at Covenant Elementary School, and a buddy of mine that went to my school, his father and his little sister both were killed in the school shooting. And they gave out these bracelets, so I've been wearing this ever since. And this one is just, shout out my guy Shep. He came to my dad one time and he spoke to his team. He says good, better, best. The rest of it is good, better, best, never let it rest. And I wear this all the time just to, tell me, do my job, do what I'm capable of doing, and that'll be my best at all times. So I wear these all the time. What else do I do? Before I go out, I listen to, Drake's my favorite artist. I listen to Tried Our Best right before, and then right after Tried Our Best, I listen to Demon Mode by Nardo Wick just to get in the mode. So I listen to those two songs before every game when I'm sitting down in my locker.
What was that bracelet again? What did that one say?
Good, better, best.
Good, better, best. Never let it
I never let
rest.
her rest.
I like that. That is it's impactful.
I feel like I do way more. I don't know. Oh, I clean my house every Thursday. Yeah,
There we
I
go.
got to do that. Just so I can find the stuff that I need to pack.
Do you have a favorite Aggie tradition, Marcel?
Favorite Aggie tradition? I want to say Midnight Yell. I mean, I've only been once, but it was kind of
What did
cool.
you enjoy most about it?
Just seeing how many people can fill up one side of the stadium on a midnight of a Friday. It's crazy. And it's like, that's still so many people. And like, when you're in the game on a Saturday, you don't realize how many people are in the stands. Like, you know it's a lot, but you don't realize how many people. When you're out there at a midnight yell, when there's nobody else on the field, and it's just people in the stands on one side, it's like, that's a ton of human beings. And it's kind of special just seeing that and how many people come and actually do this tradition that the Aggies have created.
All right, Marcel. So I want to change the topic really quick to name, image, and likeness now that we are in this new era of college athletics. So, can you share about how the ability to profit from your name, image, and likeness has impacted your life?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously impacted my life a lot. I mean, it's something special that, based off of who you are and your performance, you can gain something from it. And I mean, I just think it's really cool because it opens up, just the world of, I guess, marketing for an athlete and how they can present themselves and express themselves. Because a lot of different athletes, like different things, whether it is clothes, food, or music. I mean, you can show who you are truly and gain your own audience. And I feel like it sets you up for the future in many different ways. And I just think it's, really special to have an opportunity like that. And it's definitely something really interesting.
Hmm. What advice would you give to incoming student athletes about managing their NIL opportunities or deals?
Don't try to overdo it just for money. I mean, like I said, it's for you to build your brand and do what you like to do. Don't let anybody force you to do anything that you don't want to do. Ultimately, if you have a good name, image, and likeness, you're going to end up somewhere in the future. So, I mean, do what you want and what you think will, like I said, open up your audience and just be you and have fun with it.
So, Marcel, what would you say is your why? Why you come out here every day and give your best, and why you strive for excellence in the game of football?
I feel like my why is just really why not. I mean, you have the opportunity to do it. It's a God-given ability to be doing a sport in college with NIL. So take advantage of it. And obviously, if you don't love something, then you shouldn't be doing it. I really do it for, obviously my family, my parents, just to make them proud because all the things that they did for me growing up. And then I also do it for just the people next to me. No matter what team I'm on, I'm always going to play for the guys next to me because you never know what their why is. Like, you don't know everybody's why, but they're going to give their all for you. So, why not give your all for them? And,
Hmm.
you know, really just, like I said, have fun with it. I mean, it's football, it's a sport, and I mean, it's something I grew up playing, dreaming of doing. Yeah, that's my why.
And then specifically the position of playing quarterback. What do you love about the position, and what excites you to go out there and contribute in that position every game?
I obviously love that the ball touches my hand every play, but I just love being able to have everybody's back on the offense and be a source of help if they need it, and just kind of being that leader. I feel like I've always tried my best to be a leader on whatever team I'm on, and really everything. My dad has taught me just to be a leader, be in the front everywhere you go. When something's that important to you, I feel like you want to be in that leader role, and I feel like it's just maximizing your potential. Being the quarterback with so many things that you have to do. In the NIL space, I mean, being a quarterback is almost kind of like the face of the team in a lot of places, and it helps you out in the future, just whether you're going to be an athlete or whether you're going to go into a job space in the future. It doesn't matter. They see what you do on and off the field, and you kind of just have to have a chip on your shoulder, and then also just awareness for how you go about life. And I feel like being a quarterback just helps out with how I carry myself. And I mean, I wasn't always planning to be a quarterback, but it just happened to fall into my lap, and I feel like I took on that role, and like I said, just maximized everything that was put in front of me.
Mm-hmm. And everything happens for a reason, right?
Yep.
So Marcel, to wrap up, what are your goals beyond your time at Texas A&M?
Obviously, I want to go to the NFL and play professional, and if that doesn't work out, I want to be a coach. One thing I've thought about is just be able to have a team or my own program, and if my dad is still within that mind frame, just to be a coach with him and have him on my staff. I don't know if he's lost it. He's been out of the game for a minute, but yeah, just to have him by my side, or have a team with some of my old teammates or something like that, or be an analyst or broadcaster or something like that. I want to be in the football field, and I want to be kind of like Kirk Herbstreit. RG3, one of those guys. Just being able to talk about football all day.
Stay plugged into the game.
Yeah, I don't want to be far from it. Obviously, my dad doesn't want to be far from it. You can see he's eager to coach all the time, and he's been out of the game for a minute. I mean, my senior year of high school, he was at every practice. And I'm like, Dad, you can't be here. It's not no practice. Like, go home. But he was 5 minutes away, so he wasn't going to miss it. I mean, he's like, I don't have to be home until I'm trying to wait for the rush hour traffic to get. I'm like, go.
And finally, Marcel, why are you proud to be a Fightin' Texas Aggie and represent this university as a student athlete?
Yeah, I'm proud just because of what Texas A&M brings to the entire world. I mean, you got the Aggie Network, the Aggie Ring, what you can gain from being an Aggie in the future. That Aggie Ring does a lot. I mean, I've seen a lot of people in the airport come up to me, see him if I had like a shirt on like this. They come up to me with their Aggie Ring and introduce themselves, give me a card maybe. I feel like just having that type of camaraderie from being a student well beyond your years and being able to connect with somebody that you don't know based off of where you go or where you went, I think it's something really special to have. And, I mean, nobody has it like Texas A&M does. So I think that's something special that I really love about being here.
Marcel Reed on Answering the Call podcast. Marcel, thank you again for coming on the show.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Answering the Call, the official podcast of the 12th Man Foundation. A special shout out to our incredible podcast producer, Megan Hoffman, and to 12th Man Productions for their generous use of the studio. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to every donor and every season ticket holder for always answering the call through loyal support of Texas A&M athletics and our student athletes. We will be back soon with more content. Thanks and gig 'em.